Hello.
Hi, we're back with episode 4.
We have returned. Okay, I have to talk about this really cool setup right now. I have the pop filter like attached to my bed, and then I'm laying down on a pillow, and I'm
Yeah,
very comfortable.
I can see you right now, and you're literally laying down, and you have like the entire setup just like right in front of your
This
face.
is the most relaxed I've ever been.
Almost as relaxing as quarantine,
Wow,
just like our topic
that's a
today.
coincidence. Our episode is about that.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's almost like we planned it. But before we get into that, we should do our intro.
To keep this
So
summer camp vibes going, of course.
yeah, so we are gonna do our name, age, and our favorite type of shoes.
Oh, that's good. Also, if you couldn't tell, and if you're new, every episode we are doing basic icebreakers, very much summer camp vibes.
Yeah, just because it's funny. And I feel like once we get to like our 300th episode or something, the questions are just going to be so random, and I think that'll be funny.
Like, it'll get to the point where you know everything about us.
Yeah.
Okay, name,
Like
age, favorite. Sorry, were you going to say something?
no, it was just stupid. I was just going to say like a really stupid question, but
Okay,
I
perfect.
didn't
Name,
even think
age.
of
I'm
it
just
yet.
kidding.
um like what is the length of your right pinky fingernail?
Oh, you were still thinking of a question. I thought you were thinking of your name, age, and favorite shoe.
Oh, no, you can go first.
Okay, so hi, I'm Enzo. I am 15, possibly 16 when you're listening to this. Maybe.
Wait,
I don't know. Actually, let me look at a
wait.
calendar. Hold on. I was just going to move past
No,
this, but now I want to know.
you're not going to be. This will go up a week from tomorrow.
Oh, it'll be the day before my birthday, though. So
Oh,
everyone
I
wish
didn't
me a
realize your
happy
birthday
birthday
was on a.
tomorrow. I'm just
Yay! I
kidding.
didn't realize your birthday was on a Wednesday.
Once again, I keep forgetting you can't see my face, and I'm being very sarcastic. But then when you just listen to the audio, I'm like, everyone wish me a happy birthday. Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, um, favorite type of shoe. I literally own two pairs of shoes, actually three, but my favorite are
You
Converse.
only have three pairs of shoes?
Well, maybe four, but three brands, and it's just number one is
Oh, okay.
Converse, number two Doc Martens, number three Birkenstocks. I can never
Hmm.
just answer the question like basically. I always have to go in depth.
Well,
Sorry.
what's your favorite? You have to choose
I
one.
did. I said Converse.
Oh. My name is Anna. My age is 20, and my favorite type of shoe um I think is Birkenstocks. I just officially got like real Birkenstocks a few months ago, but also I haven't really been able to wear them much because I have shin splints, so I can't really
I'm
like
not
I
laughing.
need to wear shoes that have good arches most of the time, which is kind of sad because I really like Birkenstocks.
I have like the white plastic ones, which like why are those $60? They're okay. Anyways,
Really? I have the just brown, not the like slip-on ones, but the brown where it like goes around your toe.
I want the clogs. I know like it's so trendy to the point where it's not even like unique anymore, but I want the clogs.
Yeah, those would be cool.
Okay,
I know. I wish shoes weren't so expensive though.
I know. I feel like before quarantine they were a lot cheaper. I'm just kidding. I'm just trying to make like weird
Man,
connections.
it's almost like our episode today is about quarantine.
Right.
Um, all right, next, we can do our movie slash music shout outs of the week.
And I picked one. I was like, I'm not gonna do a full album review.
Yeah.
My music slash movie shout out. Actually, I'm just doing a music one though because I didn't watch any movies this week. But Princess Diana remix featuring Nicki Minaj, so
Hmm.
good.
I should have known you were gonna say a Nicki Minaj song.
Yeah, like her verse is so good, and like she's just continuing to prove why she's the queen of rap. And I'm so glad that she did it on a song like this because everyone loves to call viral rappers just
Hmm.
all sorts of different names. Or I'm like, you have got to earn these names. I do love Ice Spice though, and I think she's really great, and the song is so good, and her verse is amazing,
Hmm.
and the music video is so great. Okay, that's all.
My music shout out of the week. I feel like we're gonna do more music shout outs of the week than movie shout outs
I
just
know.
because we're both like such music people.
I don't watch that many
Um,
movies.
yeah, I don't either. I watch like at most one a week. I did actually, I do want to say I'll have a short movie and a short music shout out because I did watch like three movies in a row last week because I was working on a project until like 1 a.m., but it was a drawing thing, so I didn't have to like focus. So I just watched a bunch of movies. And I rewatched the first Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I forgot how good of a movie it is. Like, Like, it's just
Roger
really
Rules is
funny.
my favorite.
Yeah, I need to watch that one next. I mean, I've seen it before, but I don't know. They're just such funny movies.
I know.
Um, and then my music shout out this week, I've been listening to, or like, I kind of got back into listening to this band called the Fruit Bats. Um, I went to this coffee shop last week and they were playing the Fruit Bats and Japanese Breakfast, and they're just both such good artists. And they were like blasting it at this coffee shop, and I was like, man, I need to get back into listening to both of these people because they're really good.
Oh, I know Japanese
So yeah,
breakfast.
it's very like spring vibes, like
I agree.
just like really good. Yeah,
Okay, should we do a quick weekly recap? Or
sure.
if you have like something to share about that. And we won't ramble for 10
Um,
minutes. Lesson learned.
yeah. I'm trying to think if anything interesting has happened this week. I had a pretty busy weekend. They had the graphic design conference at SCAD this weekend, which was really fun. And there's this like children's book illustrator that came and did a talk. And then she like did a book signing afterwards, and I like bought her book, even though it was like a kid's book, but it's like really good. And it was just really cool. So yeah.
That's so fun. Okay, my week was a little bit of, how do I PG this? A crap show. I don't know. I don't want to like curse too early into the episode, but a crap show. It
Wow,
was a
crap. I can't believe
I
you
know
said
I
the
just
C
said
word.
crap. I'm so sorry. It was a dumpster fire. It was a mess. It was anyways. I know a lot of like content creators and like celebrities are always like, I like to keep like my personal life and professional life separate, and I like to pick and choose what I share with the internet. But oh my God, right now, I wish I could just do an entire episode just about my week. Maybe 10 years from now I can, but for right now that would be considered oversharing. But I have a lot of feelings. Anyways, that's honestly that's my week. That was it.
We'll keep that in mind for the 10-year anniversary of the Telepathy podcast.
Everyone remind me in 10 years to share a story from April
Let's like
20
put a reminder on your
yeah,
phone.
April 2023. No
Yeah.
shade, no shade.
Um By the way, if you're not following our Instagram, it's at the Telepathy Pod, right?
Yes, on Instagram and TikTok, and I also do believe that is our YouTube handle. And go show our
Yeah,
TikTok
but you
some love because I did check in on it the other day and it was
is it not
dry.
doing so well?
To be honest, I don't know if we've hit the double digits yet.
Well, but thanks for all of our followers on our Instagram. Like we were so surprised
Yes,
that
thank
we
you
already
so
have 130
much.
followers.
We love all of you.
Um but yeah, we post updates on that, and you can like watch the video version on YouTube and all of that. So yeah. And also be sure to respond to our camp question of the day in the Q&A section on Spotify. Wait, is it on all platforms or just Spotify?
It's just Spotify. I don't think it's offered on
Okay.
other platforms.
Well, you can respond with your favorite type of shoes.
And if you're listening on YouTube, comment it down below. And if you're not listening on YouTube or Spotify, just DM us or comment it on our recent post.
And always feel free to comment like episode ideas on our Instagram too,
Or
or
just
on the
all
Q&A
of your
panel,
thoughts.
because yeah, because we don't intend on running out of ideas anytime soon, but it'd be cool to just have new ones coming in.
Yes. Also, a shout out, last thing before we get into the topic, a shout out to our personal YouTubes. Mine is Enzo Antonio, and yours is?
And mine is Anna Katherine.
Okay.
I haven't been posting very frequently on that, but you can still subscribe.
But quantity over quality, like your videos are eating.
True.
Okay. So,
Okay.
like, where do we even begin?
So we wanted to make an episode about like quarantine, because quarantine, for us at least, like, do you mark the first day of quarantine as March 13th?
Just kind of, okay, when I think about
Or just like that general time frame? Because I mark it as
March
13th.
12th was the Billie Eilish concert that I was not allowed to go to.
We should tell that story.
That destroyed me.
Let's like start at the like beginning of quarantine.
Okay, I agree.
Like when we first started hearing about COVID coming to the US, and then we'll like work our way to that.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about when school got canceled and like all that. But anyways, like we we're realizing like, man, it's already been 3 years since quarantine started, and or like, not that it's still going on. I meant like 3 years since the beginning of quarantine.
Yeah, I would officially say it's over now. I mean, it's not a pandemic anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Didn't they just declare it like a week ago that it's not a pandemic anymore?
I'm not totally sure. So,
I feel like something happened a week ago, but um, it's just crazy like that it was 3 years ago.
I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot recently. And at first I was confused. I was like, why is this such a thing on my mind? But then I was like, okay, it's just because it's the 3-year anniversary. And when it's the anniversary of things,
Mm-hmm.
you just think about them a lot more.
Definitely. Like just whenever there's an anniversary, it's kind of just like, wow, that's crazy. Um, but yeah, so when I first heard of COVID, like when do you remember first hearing about COVID?
Um, Honestly, maybe January, because apparently one of the first cases in Italy were found literally 3 days after we left because we went to Italy over Christmas break and New Year's and stuff to celebrate
Mm-hmm.
with all of my
Oh, I
family.
forgot about that.
Yeah, and then Italy was not doing well. So I heard about it a lot throughout, I guess maybe it was end of January and throughout February because, I mean, it was scary because my grandma was just all alone in her apartment. And the only person who would go is like my cousin just to like bring out the trash and stuff. But other than that, she was all alone, which thankfully, like this woman, if you just give her like a kitchen and like a crossword
Yeah.
puzzle book, like she'll be good for like 10 years. I love my nonna so much. But yeah, that was really scary. And then my cousin was also working for the Red Cross or doing some sort of internship. So he helped a lot with like, I don't know, like beginning cases and stuff. So that was also scary.
Yeah. I remember I think I would just like hear about it on the news and stuff in January. And I remember once my dad like went out to get a bunch of groceries just like to stock up. This was back in January though. Like this was before the whole toilet paper thing. And he came back with a bunch of groceries and was like, just in case COVID, whatever. And I was like, that's not going to happen. Like, there's no way. Because I, there's just never been like anything huge, like historically huge in my lifetime. So I couldn't imagine something historically huge happening, you know?
Yeah, like I never thought that I had like experienced something that would be in a textbook. I always thought that these years would
Yeah.
just be, I mean, except for maybe like presidential elections and stuff, but other than
Yeah.
that, I thought it was just pretty dry.
Yeah. So it's just weird to think that like something I was like I just couldn't perceive something like that happening. And like the word quarantine, I would think of like zombie apocalypse or like h- huge pandemic, which it was a pandemic. Well, like I don't know, just like this huge thing, and it was a huge thing, and it's just weird that like it actually happened. Um, but yeah, so then like the months went on, and it became March, and then that's when COVID like entered the US.
Yeah.
And then it started getting real and I was like, "Wait, this might actually like be a thing that's about to happen." Um and so I remember like the week before COVID, I got my wisdom teeth out. If you found my YouTube channel from my wisdom teeth video, it has like I think it has like 60,000 views or
That's
something
so funny, but also like,
or like
go
30,000,
you.
and it's like it's not like that good of a video. Like uh, I don't
Okay,
know.
wait, this is super
Um
random, but like, what day did we decide? I mean, at least here in America, we all called it Corona or like coronavirus. When did we randomly decide to start calling it
yeah.
COVID? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I feel like it was in like May, you know?
Maybe even later. I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah, maybe even later. I would have to like go back and see if I have any of like videos of me saying it. Um, but like so then it was the week of when everything was shutting down. And of course, I had me and Carolina, Enzo's sister, um, which like eventually we'll establish and we can just like
eventually we can just
say
say Carolina, but for now,
yeah.
still.
Um, so me and Caroline, so Carolina had gotten me Billie Eilish
Okay,
tickets
hold
for
on.
her
I'm
like
sorry. I feel bad for interrupting, but I do have to clarify. Back in October of 2019, Billie Eilish announced the tour, and I said, we should get Anna Billie tickets for her birthday. Thinking, okay, yeah, me, Carolina, and then Anna's brother, Kirk, and Anna, obviously, because it's for her birthday.
I didn't know that.
No, I was like, we should get tickets. I was thinking it was
Yeah.
all gonna be 4 of us. Then my dad just got them for Anna and Carolina, and I was, like, really mad, and every day I would search up tickets, and, like, I found tickets in a reasonable price range that I was gonna get, but then they didn't let me go. Sorry, keep going.
Yeah. So like it was like the day of the concert and we were like fully ready. And then Carolina texted me and she was like, I don't think my mom's gonna let me go. Because I think that was the day that it was maybe declared a pandemic.
Maybe, like, around that time, but
Yeah.
it's just crazy because after that, I was literally gaslit. My parents were like, "You're not even a big Billie Eilish fan," and they also told me, they're like, "If Kalina gets to go, like, you'll get to go." Um,
Yeah.
and then they were just like, "You weren't even gonna go. You didn't have tickets. Why are you complaining about this?" And I was like, literally being gaslit, and I was destroyed.
Yeah.
I was destroyed.
Yeah. So then, yeah. So it ended up being where Carolina ended up not being able to go, but my mom still let me go. So I just went with my mom. Um, but we ended up um her company has like a suite in the arena that it was in, so she ended up getting tickets in the suite just to like stay out of the big crowds, which was kind of a good idea. But also it's weird to think that like back then that was when there were hardly any cases, and but obviously it was more like unprecedented, so you didn't know if it was safe or not, but like back then that was when there's probably a very low chance of anybody in the arena having COVID.
Also, for me personally, I don't know if this is just because I was literally 12, but my concept of viruses, I feel like were so much different. Like for me, when I went to the grocery store, I wouldn't touch things because I didn't necessarily realize
Mm-hmm.
it was very much airborne. Like I knew it
Yeah.
was, but I was more focused on like don't
Yeah.
touch
Oh my
germs.
gosh. Throwback to when me and my mom got back from the Billie Eilish concert and we had to like take off all of the clothes that we had worn to the concert just in case it had gotten like infected because we didn't know that it was airborne.
Yeah,
Or like we
literally.
knew but like we didn't
I don't know, my
understand.
perception of sicknesses were so much different.
Yeah, it's funny. But yeah, so then like describe your last day of school and like what everything was like on the last day of school.
Okay, so the awkward thing is, um, maybe it's been enough time for me to talk about this. I'm not that problematic. I don't know why. I randomly have stories and I'm like, can I share this? But
I
um, I had
have no idea what you're about to talk
I had
about.
gotten in trouble for a YouTube video basically the last week before we got out.
By your school? Oh,
Yeah,
oh,
you
oh.
remember this now?
I forgot that you weren't at public school.
Yeah, so I was at private school at the time, and I was just like, I got sent to the principal's office and stuff to talk about like a YouTube video and stuff. So it was just really awkward. And then we went home, and then I never
Mm.
ever went back to that school.
What was the like atmosphere at school that day?
Okay,
Like,
I was literally, I had like a cold, which I,
oh, wait. We should talk about that because there was like everybody was getting sick a few weeks leading up to when everything shut down. And everybody was getting like really sick. Like I went to public school and everybody was like out about 2 weeks before everything shut down, and it was really weird. And we were all like, "Man, there's a really bad flu or something going on." And my digital media teacher, I remember he was out for like an entire maybe week and a half before um, the last week of school, and he was like really sick and he never got sick, so we were like, man, what's going on? Isn't that
I
weird?
know I just had like a normal cold, but I remember it was funny
Mm-hmm.
because I remember like my friend making jokes like, "Oh, I hope you have COVID so we can all go home for 2 weeks." Which,
Yeah, yeah, the 2 week thing was funny
oh
too.
my gosh, like
um
it literally turned into a year and a half, maybe more than that. I don't know. That's
mhm.
crazy.
Yeah, like yeah, it's crazy. So my last day of school, um I was I don't remember any of my other classes except for my digital media class. But we were like working on a project that day, like our huge project that we'd been working on for months. But like nobody could focus, and like it was just the weirdest thing ever. Like, I remember my English teacher was in there because, like, she was helping with the project. But me and my friends were, like, sitting with my English teacher and just, like, looking up news stories about COVID and, like, trying to figure out what was going on. And then when we, that was our last class of the day. So when the bell rang, my teacher was like, see you in, see you next year or
Oh my
something as a
gosh, people were
joke.
saying that. I remember.
And we were like, ha ha ha, yeah, see you next year. And then literally it ended up being an entire year until we saw everybody in person again,
It's so weird
which was
because
crazy.
so I went to private school from kindergarten to seventh, or like preschool through seventh grade or whatever. And then
Mm-hmm.
I decided, I think like December 2019 or maybe January 2020. So it was before the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic. I decided that I was going to change schools and go to public school for eighth grade year just because I thought I'd like, I don't know, the
Yeah.
environment wasn't good for me anymore. And then I thought public school would be easier to transition into high school and stuff better because, like the public
Mm-hmm.
school feeds into one another. So I decided that I
Yeah.
wasn't going to go there anymore. And I never would have thought that that was my last day ever at that school because,
Oh, yeah, I forgot that that was your last, that was how it ended for you. That's so
and
weird.
then it like just, we went home and then back in May or like at the end of the school year or something, I just went up to pick up all of my locker stuff in a trash bag.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I remember, yeah. I mean, that's just so weird. And I was so glad. So I was a junior in high school when that happened. And I was obviously glad I wasn't a senior because that would have been really sad to miss my senior year. But I was also so glad that eventually we went back in person. It was like the weird schedule where like it was like a third of the
The
people go back
cohorts.
or like half of the
Wasn't it the
people. It was, I forget what it was
cohorts? The
called.
cohorts.
Cohorts. Yeah, cohorts.
Or Plan B. Remember they called it? It was like Plan A, Plan B, Plan
Yeah.
C.
Yeah. So we went back in cohorts in maybe like April of my senior year and or it was like March of my senior year. And it was just, I was just so glad because like I just like we got to have prom and we got to do all the like senior things. They were definitely a little bit mitigated. Like the prom was run by parents. It wasn't an actual school thing. And then like the graduation was in smaller groups and stuff. But I'm just so glad that like all that got to happen because that was like some of my favorite memories so far of my life. So I'm just like really glad that we got to go back.
I know, because senior year is such an important thing. And also, like, I feel like the timing was good because, I mean, you were already like completely vaccinated and stuff by prom, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And um it worked out good too because like obviously my first year of college wasn't online. It was, we had to wear masks, which I mean like wasn't a big deal, but there were like a few things that were more online than they should have been, or not than they should have been, but like than they normally were
Yeah.
my freshman year of college. But I'm just so glad that like classes were in person because if I had been, I mean, it's crazy because I could have been in the grade above me if my birthday was just like a few weeks earlier. And I'm just glad that it wasn't because my whole life would have been like
I
different.
know.
That's weird to think about, like the tiny detail of like when I was born, like what day I was born affected like my entire past few years.
Literally. And it was so weird transferring to a new school and being the new kid online, which, like, being the new kid at public school, at least the public school that I went to, it's like there's a lot of people that's
Wait,
new.
I forgot. I forgot that you like started at public school
I
online.
know. Like, my first day was completely online. And then I think in November of
That's
2020, I
crazy.
went in with the cohorts or whatever. But then I was like, I
Oh
absolutely
yeah.
hate this. And so I stayed online until April when
Oh,
everybody went back, except for there was
yeah.
like a virtual academy or whatever. So you could still be virtual. My mom was
Mhm.
like, you need to go in person because I literally was just, I like rotted upstairs in my room for like a good 3 months.
Yeah. Um I it kind of worked out good for me because I was in pre-calc when we went to quarantine, and my school did the thing where like you can take your grade that you had first quarter of the semester if you wanted to, or you could keep doing online school and try to like raise your grade. But I just went with the grade that I had in pre-calc, which I had a B in pre-calc, but like I was just like it was taking up too much of my time, and I was like, I cannot be wasting 3 hours of my day doing this when I could be like going outside or whatever. So I ended up just taking my grade from the previous quarter and going with it. And I'm just so glad because I just like I got to miss out on a whole pre-calc. And I think that just made my life better, you know?
I
Like,
know, right? I feel like we should start talking more about like how we use that time and how that affected us.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, wait.
What was your normal quarantine lifestyle?
So, I mean, before that new school year started at the public school, I mean, I ran every day. I know, imagine like me running, like I cannot
Oh,
long distance run at all, but I
wait.
ran every day.
Yeah, I kind of remember you and Carolina would go on a run like every
And we
day.
would make smoothies and we would like set up the Enos, the little hammocks in the back, and go on bike rides. Like
Yeah.
I honestly was, and I was
Oh,
like posting YouTube videos a week. Like, oh
yeah. Was that when you made the Area 51 video?
no, oh my gosh, that was in 2019, but we don't talk about that.
Oh, okay. Um, but yeah, like I just spent so much time outside. Like me and my brother Kirk would always go like hang up our Enos outside, and Kirk would do a lot of slacklining, and I
Slacklining.
started doing yoga every day.
You still do, like,
Um,
you keep up with that too, though, now.
yeah, well, not really over the
Well,
past
you
few
did for a
months, but
second, though.
I yeah, I mean, I want to get back into it, but I mean, I was doing yoga like pretty much every day. Yeah, I was going on bike rides with you guys. Oh, I was doing like the Chloe Ting workout,
Chloe
which
Ting.
like I kind of liked those. I'm not I'm the least I do not like working out, but I don't know. I was just like really in shape during that
No,
time.
same. Like, I do not exercise as much
I
as I
was
did
just like
then.
yeah, I was just like mentally and physically very stable. And I think it was because like I just had more time and I didn't have to be doing school all day. Like we only had one online class because my other teachers would just like give us packets or whatever to work on. Um and then we would just do like my one online class. But it was with like my group of friends, like my class that I have people in that I'd had people in like every year. So it was
Exactly.
fun.
I don't know if this is kind of switching directions, sort of, but I
No,
wrote
yeah,
this
we can
down
switch
and I
directions.
had this whole, not really
Mm-hmm.
like a crisis the other day, but I don't know if this sounds crazy, but why does 2019 feel closer than 2020 did? Do I sound crazy
Yeah,
or no?
not really. Like I don't know if I agree, but like I know what you mean.
Because okay, I don't know, I literally wrote this at like 1 in the morning. Um, but I don't know what this metaphor is, but it felt like for a second we're having full on album releases with like a full on era and like I literally just dropped my phone with a full era and like just a full world tour and stuff. But then it like COVID felt
Yeah.
like that random EP in between.
Wait, that's like such a good.
Metaphorically
Why is that
speaking.
literally that is the greatest metaphor I think I've ever heard. COVID was an EP.
No, it literally was because it wasn't, I don't know, like
Oh my gosh.
everything else was a full length album with a full world tour and doing
That makes
everything.
that makes so much sense. Yeah, cuz like yeah, 2019 was remember like fall of 2019? Everybody always talks about fall of 2019.
Wait, like, why is this the first thing that came to my mind? Your video with the iPhone 11, and I thought it was so cool that you had a video with over a
Oh my
thousand views.
gosh. Yeah, I remember that. And then that was like my first playlist video where I was sitting in my chair. Nobody go back and watch that, please.
It's okay, my
Um,
videos from that time, that was the Area 51 video.
yeah. Well, yes, like that I said yes, but I
Yes.
meant to say yes so. So I don't say yes in real life, sorry. Anyways, that was like when I started my YouTube channel was summer of 2019, but I was like getting more into it in fall of 2019. So that's weird to think
That is
that
very
most of my time
strange.
on YouTube has been over COVID, which like my videos were so good during quarantine.
No, same.
Um,
I was being so productive and trying to post.
yeah, it was just so good because I just had so much time to think of videos and like the style of content during that time was really good. Just like I don't know, I just liked the
Like
style of
home
my
vlogs.
videos. Yeah. So, like, something else that we wanted to talk about in this episode was
The
how,
age
so
crisis.
I had been,
Oh, was that just a failed telepathy
well,
moment?
maybe, I don't know what you're referencing. I
Okay.
mean, maybe it's what I'm talking about. But, um, basically, like, I've been seeing a lot of TikToks recently, or like, not really recently, but maybe in the past 6 months, where it's been like, um, I have this TikTok pulled up that we could reference, but like, it's basically saying, wait, should we
Oh,
like,
wait, then this is the same thing. Because I said the
oh,
age
okay.
crisis about the being frozen in time, sort of.
Oh, I thought you said huge crisis, not age
Oh,
crisis.
okay. So, guys, successful
So I
telepathy
was
moment.
confused. Yay. I'll just like talk about the premise of it. It's basically saying like, does anybody feel like you're just stuck at the age that you were when COVID started? And like, I feel like there's this weird phenomenon going on where everybody is like stuck in 2020. You feel like you're the age that you were in 2020, and like, for example, when I'm writing dates on at like the top of my paper or whatever, I start writing like 2020 or 2019
Yes.
sometimes. Like, there was this thing recently where my mom said, and she said something that she thought happened like the other day, but it was actually 3 years ago or
Yes.
something along those lines. And then I was telling her about that theory that like everybody feels like they're stuck, because I just feel like the world paused and I still feel like it hasn't fully resumed yet. Like, I feel like my life has resumed, but I feel like something in my brain thinks that those 3 years haven't happened,
Yes, absolutely.
and that it's almost like in 2020 it paused and now we're playing again, but I'm still, how old was I? 17?
No, I still feel like I'm
I
12.
was 17. I cannot believe you were
No,
12
I
when
was
quarantine
12.
started. That's
And I think that's
actually
why I
crazy.
have these crises so
Mhm.
often because I feel like 12 to 16 is a huge difference. Oh, wait, I'm not even
Yeah.
16 yet. 12 to 15. But I don't
Mhm.
know. Literally still feel like I'm 12. And I've said this for so long, but I don't know. It's so weird. And then also, it gets weirder the further we go away from 2020
I
because,
well, I still feel like you're 12 too, not because you act like you're 12, but because if somebody were to ask me like, "Oh, how old is Enzo?" I'd be like, "Oh, 12 or 13."
yeah,
Or maybe I'd say 14, but I would not say 16
yeah,
or
that would be
almost 16, of
incorrect.
course.
Also, I'm just kidding. But it's so weird. And the further we get away from 2020, it becomes weirder because it's like I'm supposed to move on. I get it. Like the pandemic is over. Like, let's carry on, like, but I still feel this weird attachment, not to 2020
Mhm.
specifically, but I think it's to my age. Like, it hit me that, like, I'm in high school and I had this whole thing
Yeah.
that I was like, oh, but like, I just started high school. Like, I'm a new. I mean, not
Mhm.
really, literally. By the end of this year, I'll be halfway through my junior year.
That's crazy. And I'll be halfway through college
Yeah, of your junior year.
at the end of, or like, yeah. I meant like in a month I'll be halfway through college. I just feel like life keeps moving quicker and quicker. And I've seen this thing saying like you feel like life's moving quicker and quicker every year because every year a year becomes less of a percentage of your entire life. So like when you turn 1, a year has been 100% of your whole life. But when you turn 21, a year has been, I can't do math, 5% of your life?
That's such a weird way to look
20
at it.
divided 100 divided by 20
Not a weird way, but like,
is 5. Yeah, 5% of what the
that's
heck?
such like
5% of my life?
not a weird way to look at it, but that's so mind. Did you drop your phone?
Yeah. I did just drop my phone.
The way I just see it tumble and
Yeah, because every year it feels like it goes quicker. And then our parents are over here being like they're 50 and they're like, "Man, I feel like I was just 20." And then I'm like,
I
"Uh-oh."
know, but I feel like the pandemic made this even worse for everyone.
Yeah. So there's also these TikToks, which like I don't think it's much of a trend anymore, but there was a trend a few months ago where you show yourself before COVID and then you show yourself like after COVID or like right now. And it's kind of crazy how much like some people change, cuz I saw this one that I'm thinking of. where this girl, she looked like she was like in high school or whatever when COVID started. And then she was at some sort of like red carpet event currently.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just weird. But like, I agree with what you said about how you almost like miss that, or not, what did you say? Like, you miss that age or
Yeah,
whatever?
or maybe not even miss. Maybe you just genuinely think about it or like are attached to it because
Or
you
like
think,
attached
yeah,
attached to it.
attached, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
because you
Because
still
I
feel
was
that
like,
age, you know? Like you still mentally feel like you're 12.
yeah, definitely. I agree because I was like 17, 18 during quarantine, and that was like, like I was a junior and senior in high school, and that's like, I just feel like that's kind of something I'd been looking forward to my whole life, and like all the Taylor Swift songs or whatever, and like, Lover had just come out, so it was like Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince vibes with like all the high school imagery or whatever.
Yes.
I don't know, like I just thought that that was what the second half of my high school was going to be like. Was just very like, I don't know how to explain it, but like the vibe of Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, um I don't know how to
No, no,
describe.
no,
Do you
no, no,
know what
no.
I'm
I
saying?
know. I do this all the time with songs too, where I'm like, this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. Not even like the story or anything, just like the
Just
vibe.
no, yeah.
But like I don't regret anything about quarantine. I mean, obviously like COVID was bad. Um and life would have been a lot different if it hadn't happened, but I think it was really good for me like mentally just to have time to like take a break, and I got more like connected to my the creative things that I wanted to do, and I just like feel like I learned a lot about myself and like grew a lot during that time because I had the time to like step back and like do what I wanted to do. And so I'm like really glad that I like that quarantine happened for me just because I don't know, I just feel like
Wait, that's
it was
interesting
like a
though.
healthy time.
Like thinking about regrets. Oh, do I have any quarantine
Yeah.
regrets?
Yeah, like if you I mean, obviously we're putting aside that like it was a pandemic and that like people were dying and stuff. Like
Yeah, like,
we're not putting I'm just saying like for you personally, if you had to change it and school was in person and COVID hadn't happened, how do you think that would have changed your personal life?
oh, I think it would have changed it a lot. Like the first thing that came to mind was in sort of like a YouTube sense. Because if I went to public school, I kind of could imagine myself like hiding YouTube or trying to maybe like distance myself from that part because
Mhm.
I don't know. Oh, that's so weird though. But then also I think that having March to June is a while, and so that's like all of a part of 7th grade that I lost. And I think that I would
Mhm.
have just been somewhere totally different, like
Yeah.
mentally.
I kind of I kind of feel like I almost don't want to know if I missed out on anything, cuz I mean obviously there's no such thing as missing out if it like wouldn't have happened in the first place. Or like I don't know what I'm saying, but I partly wish I could see what like a quick rerun or like review of what my life would have been like for the past few years if COVID hadn't happened. But also like I'm happy with how it did end up, and like I wouldn't change that either. But like there were a lot of things that I missed my junior and senior year that I do wonder like what
That's
could
so
have happened.
scary. Like it's weird to think about because I mean, when I came back in person for school, like I literally ate alone, but it was so weird because my phone was going off every 5 seconds with new comments and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I remember it was almost, I literally felt like I was in a movie when I got this one comment that was like, oh my gosh, if I went to school with you, I would totally want to be your friend. And then I thought it was so weird because I was eating alone and I was like, there's people that want to be friends with me, but like I literally felt like I was in a
That's so
movie. It's
funny.
so,
Yeah.
it's weird. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Like I missed this big so like I did this thing called Skills USA in high school, and it's basically like this competition thing where you go to like so you go to like the state levels and you compete, and I was doing pen design like like not writing pins, but like pins that are sharp that you put in your shirt or whatever. That was a really weird way to describe it. But pin design, PIN. Um, and I was supposed to go to the state competition, and then so virtually, like over COVID, I ended up like getting first in states and then first in nationals. But I wonder if the same thing would have happened if I went in person, because like what if I just hadn't done my speech well in person and then I didn't end up getting first place, because virtually I got to retake the speech like as many times as I wanted. But
That's so
also,
interesting.
like, it would have been really fun to be there in person for nationals, and like they do this pen trading thing where the winners of each state get to trade their pens with the other states, and that would have been really fun in person. And like what if I had one in person and I got to like go on the stage in this huge like arena pretty much. But I don't know.
That's so weird
It's
to
just
think
weird to think
about.
of things that could have happened.
Yeah, and like when I'm watching
But
YouTube videos from 2019, especially for example, if it's a school vlog, the environment looks
mhm,
different. Like I don't know what's different about it, but everything about it feels not the same. I don't know what changed, but
yeah.
the atmosphere, I don't know. It's so weird.
I wish I could watch just like a TV show of my life of like what would have happened if COVID hadn't happened. Like, I don't know.
I know, like when I think about me pre-COVID, all I can think about is like not innocence because like I don't know, I just feel so like innocent. I feel like if I think about me pre-COVID, because I'm like, oh wow, you had no idea. But that's weird to okay.
Yeah,
Now I'm just like
it is weird to
getting
think.
all weirdly tripped up.
Oh yeah, we should talk about like our weird phases or just like weird funny stories from quarantine.
Yeah. Okay, so I dyed my hair like literally 4 different times. I dyed my hair red,
Mhm.
and then I went blonde, and then I had black hair, and then I had a weird stripe of like light
Wait, so
brown.
red was your first one?
Yes.
Yeah, wait for some I forgot about that. That's so funny. Yeah.
That was my
Oh,
favorite,
and your
honestly.
haircut. Your
Oh, we don't
haircut
talk about
video.
that. Oh my gosh, that was crazy. When I tried to cut
Oh
my
my
own hair, that was
gosh.
horrible. But
That was so funny.
I'm now looking back, the red was my favorite, and I would consider. Okay, did you see Alicia Marie's hair? She dyed her hair
Yeah,
red.
maybe. I'm not following her on
Oh,
Instagram.
it looks so good though, and
How dark is it?
it's decently dark, but it's like a dark red, sort of. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking about how I was gonna say, I was like, oh, if I, like just lived on my own and stuff, and my parents weren't like not letting me do stuff, I would definitely, I don't know, just like dye my hair dark red for fun, because
Yeah.
I don't know. But I was thinking about it like, oh, in the pandemic, we did things like that because it was like, oh, you're not going out of the house. Like, oh, we're all bored. So it kind of allowed us to do stuff that we wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
normally do. And I don't know
I
how
guess
that
I guess
affects.
technically I cut my curtain bangs
Yeah.
during quarantine. I kind of forgot that I cut them the first time I had them, but that was more in 2021. Or
Yeah.
I guess it was like January 2021. So it was also like this is I just like interrupted myself, but like music was so much there was like something about the like vibe of
Okay.
music
I don't know how to
in
explain it,
2020.
but music
I feel like we
before.
need to like scientifically like examine this, because why
Okay, tell me
was
if
it
this
so
makes
good?
sense. Music before 2019, it all felt like it was recorded in a studio, but then music
Mhm.
after quarantine and stuff and during 2020, and honestly still after, it feels like it was recorded like at an at-home studio. Even if it wasn't, it all feels like it was just recorded at home. I can't explain it.
Like it sounds more authentic almost.
Yeah, like more raw, but also, why is Flowers by Miley Cyrus a song that I feel like for the first time in literally since 2019 feels like it was recorded in a studio? Once again, this could just be like metaphorically, but it's weirdly clicking in my brain like that.
For me, like Flowers by Miley Cyrus reminds me of like 2016,
Yeah.
like that era, which I mean I liked 2016 music in 2016. Like the example I can think of is like Stay by Alessia Cara. Like
Yes. Or like The Roses by the Chainsmokers. Or is that 2015 or something? I don't
yes.
know.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But yeah, I get what you're saying with the Flowers by Miley Cyrus. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, I don't think it's a. I mean, I do like Flowers by Miley Cyrus a lot. I think it's a good song. I mean, I guess it's more of a good thing. It's not necessarily like, oh my gosh, it's finally a breath of fresh air, but it's also not like, what the heck, this is 2019 vibes. I don't know why it
I
all
feel
feels like it's
like
recorded at
okay,
home. I can't explain it.
I have a new theory, like not a theory, but I feel like Midnights by Taylor Swift also feels like it was recorded in a studio
Yes,
in 2019.
yes,
You know?
yes.
And okay,
Except for
I'm
a few
I'm, I'm
songs for
dissecting
some
this
reason.
too far. Yeah, I'm dissecting this too far now, but like maybe I mean, I'm not to like expose myself, but like I haven't listened to Midnights that much in the past few months. I listened to it a lot when it first came
Hmm.
out, but like I haven't like connected with it as much as I connected with like Folklore and Evermore. But I'm wondering if maybe because that's why.
Yeah, because songs like Lavender Haze. Okay, songs
Like
like,
Antihero?
yeah, that song definitely, of course, because I mean, I guess that's the most like pop radio hit of the album. But I
Mhm.
mean, except for songs like Maroon. But I feel like, okay,
Yeah.
Lavender Haze, I think it does have pre-COVID vibes. I've decided.
You could play me like an album that I didn't know what year it was made of and I've never heard of the artist, and I could tell you if it was made during quarantine or before quarantine.
I can't explain it. It's almost like how the microphone is, but
Yeah, no, like I think we're like onto
no,
something
okay,
and people are probably like what are they
I
talking
feel like in
about?
2020 people
Okay,
started getting closer to the microphone. I can't explain this. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't
yeah.
elaborate.
Also, yeah. Also like so like Inhaler, their first album came out during COVID and you can tell like it has that feel. But their new album that just came out 2 months ago, you can tell like it sounds back to the studio. Like something about the at home atmosphere, like you
Yeah.
can just tell.
And even if it
And I
wasn't
like it.
recorded at home, it like, you're not fooling anyone. Like this, it's okay. Recorded at home
Like
isn't a literal thing. It's literally metaphorical. And that's like the dumbest thing
yeah.
anyone has ever
I feel
heard.
like we're talking about like a very abstract thing right now, but I fully understand what we're talking about.
If you don't agree with us, I mean, that's okay. Like, let us know like your thoughts and opinions. But I feel like we probably sound
Let us
crazy.
know if we're
Are we
yeah, like
crazy?
let us know if we're going crazy or if we are making
Okay,
sense.
but think about like NFR versus like Blue Banisters or Chemtrails.
Yeah.
Like
And
NFR.
back to now did you know that there's a tunnel of under Ocean Boulevard feels like it's back to the studio?
Yeah.
Do you think that?
Wait, I think so. Because I'm thinking about,
Which like it is back to the
yeah,
studio.
like the grants.
And like
Like that feels so like we're out of COVID.
yeah, that's like oh my
I promise
gosh.
we're not like on drugs right now. Like these are all
No,
complete.
I think I've just cracked the code that my brain has been like I think I'm back onto the right frequency all of a sudden.
Yeah. Or we just fell off of it.
Anyways, I
Like
mean, yeah,
we just
maybe.
fell off.
Why did I say or?
We just fell out.
I just
We just fell
I
off of the
just
right
used
frequency and now we're just delusional.
I just used the word or as like instead of yeah. But I kind of liked
Oh,
it because you said
oh, Arizona tea cans.
oh
They just fell.
because you said are we this? You said are we this or this and I said or. But
Or yeah,
I kind of like that.
just like yes or.
I feel like we sound like we're like literally going mentally insane right now. Like what are we talking about?
Right. I feel like
Anyways,
I have so many
um
feelings about this and I feel like I don't even know how to put it into words, but I don't know. Moral of the story EP versus full album era. Moral of the story I'm not
anyways,
12.
it's just weird like I just feel like I feel like life isn't
Like
real
I'm gonna
right
get my
now.
license soon. Like I don't know how to drive a car. I mean I do, but like mentally I'm like I don't know
I
how to
feel like
drive a car, you know?
I feel like what's happening is that life is moving like faster than we can process it all of a
Right.
sudden. Like ever since COVID.
Cuz time really did freeze and now we're just
Mhm.
forced to speed up and get on with it, you know? Which, I mean, I don't know what the
Yeah.
alternative is, to sit here and let everyone process it for 10 days and be like writing down,
It's like, all
I'm
right,
not 12, I'm not 12. I'm not, like, affirmations.
yeah. It's like, all right, everybody stay home from school and work for 10 days and write down and just try to tell yourself that life is real.
Literally.
I think that was an interesting conversation. Like I feel like I unpacked some things that make a lot of sense.
No, there's some things that I'm going to be thinking about tonight while I can't fall asleep. Anyways, before we end the episode, I think we should do what are you doing after this? Because we said we were going to do
Yeah.
that, but also I have nothing interesting, but you go first.
I think I'm gonna start making dinner soon. I think I might just do some homework real quick, and then I'm gonna make BLTs for dinner
That
for
sounds
my
good.
roommate and I. And then I'll do a lot more homework because I have a lot tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to get all this stuff. I mean, I think I'm pretty good for tomorrow's episode launch. And then I have math homework, and then the AP exam. She's coming.
Tomorrow?
No. Like, she's coming up soon.
Oh,
so I have
study
to...
for the AP exam.
If it was tomorrow, I'd probably be like crying right now.
Oh my gosh, that's another thing, real quick, is I had to take my AP exams during COVID, and that was such a weird vibe. Oh my gosh, I remember they were online. Oh my gosh, that was such that's so nostalgic for some reason, even though like it was terrible. But like I had to take the AP exams, and then I remember like immediately going outside and like laying on the hammock after taking one of my AP exams and just listening to like my really good quarantine playlist.
Our music was so
with like
good.
Channel Orange in Your Living Room by Charlie Berg on it. Ugh.
Oh my gosh.
Like the music just like hit different. I wish I could feel that again.
I know. Anyways, let us know your thoughts at the Telepathy Pod on Instagram. Of course, leave us a review wherever you're listening. And then honestly, like, even if you don't watch it on YouTube, just go subscribe to our YouTube channel. That was a very random side comment.
Yeah. And our TikTok.
And our TikTok, she needs some love. And then Instagram, shout out to everyone who has followed at the Telepathy Pod. And then go subscribe to our personal YouTubes. We already talked about that, though. If you made it this far into the episode, you have reached the end. Congrats. Thank you for listening.
If you've made it to this far of the episode, you have like gotten through some very like abstract topics that I don't even know if the audience knows what the heck we're talking about.
I'm scared this is going to make no sense, but also, I don't know, sometimes I'm listening to a podcast and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about, but like, I kind of just like trick my brain into being like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, sometimes it's just like good background noise, so
Exactly.
let us know if it made sense to you. And yeah, thanks for watching. We will see you guys next week with episode...
I feel like I need to discipline you because you keep thinking it's a YouTube video.
Did I say watch?
Yes, thank you for listening. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
the way I said discipline,
it's
that's
just
when
like...
it's so... I promise I have
it's
a
just
sarcastic
like
face.
muscle... It's like muscle memory now, because yeah, thanks for listening.
Okay, bye.
We'll see you guys next week.
Next
Bye.
Tuesday. Bye.